Okay, so Russell bought another plane.
Another Warrior.
Why?
Don't know right now. We're about to find out.
All right. So here's what we're working with. It's kind of windy, so just deal with it. But look at how really disgusting this thing is. I mean, it's been sitting for a long time.
You can see the corrosion on there.
Yeah, look at that. That's absurd. Anyways, it has no engine, it has no prop. It's just got a bunch of like barbell weights in the engine cowl to hold the nose down. And if you look on the door, I mean, the whole interior is just it's gross. I mean, this gives you lung cancer if you breathe this in. Like, the carpet's green, it's mildewed everywhere, the windows are shot, there's water stains on the headliner. But it had a Garmin 430, was it 430 WAS?
Yeah.
It was? Okay, so it had a WAS unit in it. So we pulled that out so no one jacks it. Had a full radio stack, we got all that. I guess it's gonna temporarily be a parts plane for right now, yeah, until eventually it gets redone.
Let's see if any parts are still good.
Yeah, so we know for sure you got to get a seat part, right?
Here's the battery that was in there.
Oh yeah, so we got some plastics
that were okay. Here's the seat part I needed that I pulled off.
Was the battery that was in it good?
It says it's from 2017, so I was gonna charge it.
Yeah, it might be good.
See.
Okay.
Could be good, yeah. Could be a nice spare battery for us.
So we're already using it for parts. We're gonna have a peek on that attitude indicator in there because one of the other planes, the attitude indicator went out, so that'll be valuable. But yeah, let me show everybody what we're talking about when we say it has no engine. This is what we're working with. They just piled a bunch of wood and, I mean, just weights and stuff in here. There's some baffling. At least they taped everything, which is nice, so it's documented what is what. That's really beneficial, but it's got nothing. I mean, the cowling is all cracked up pretty bad. It's a little bit rough, but it's a good airframe. It doesn't have any corrosion on the inside of the airframe, which is good. So it's a good starting point. But the struts are gonna have to be redone. They're all completely collapsed. Oh, there goes a Mooney. Nope, that's a VTEL, my bad. How many hours are on the airframe, do you know?
I don't, but the tag says 7,600.
So we could probably assume somewhere in there. It looks like an original tack.
Yeah.
Yeah, that does look like a very nice attitude indicator.
Yeah, so here, I'll pull this one I pulled out.
And that's a really nice, like, it has, so that's tied in with the autopilot, so it probably has heading hold and everything.
I am assuming so.
It looks like it.
It does look like it. I don't know, this is a 180? Can't tell, it's so beat up. It's either a 160 or a 180.
Yeah. Do you know if the guy... So, okay. Let's back up a little bit. The guy that had this plane sold it because apparently it just became too much for him. He didn't want to deal with it. Deal with putting a new engine in it. It needed an engine. And I think he just kind of got tired out on it and wanted out of it. Didn't want to have to deal with the financial expense. So that's where Russell came into play. He found Russell through some mutual friends at the airport, and he was like, hey man, I don't want the plane, I want to get out of it. He just wanted to get out of it quick, so he gave Russell a really killer deal on the plane, and the price that he paid for it was worth it in parts, considerably so, alone, just parts alone. So that's kind of what it's being used for right now until a formal plan, I guess, is finalized on how to you know, put it back in the air.
Yeah, I mean, if we end up doing anything to salvage this and redo it, we're probably going to upgrade most of this anyways, so we might as well start taking it out.
Right, because the other Warrior, so now there's 3. The other one has 2 G5s, a 430 WAS. The other one has no real GPS or anything. It's just kind of a VFR flying trainer, and then now we have a lot of good useful equipment from here. And it looks like you've got a really good, you know, VR instrumentation in it too. Like that one's a little bit older, but the top one's real nice.
Well, yeah, I mean, it had the 430, so obviously it had the Garmin to match that with the OBS and everything. And then this was the older BOR number 2.
Yeah, so it's got 2 decent CDIs, one of them newer, and you could probably overhaul them for cheap if you wanted to, because they probably function fine, but just like little arrows are faded red and stuff, you know, little stuff like that. And the glass isn't even.
Another 2 of these on the shelf.
Oh, perfect.
Starting to collect those for some reason.
And the glass isn't even fogged on it. Like
that
it's really
nice.
It's nice.
Definitely nice.
So, and I really like this style of
I did too, yeah.
compass.
I almost took this out and put it in the other plane, but
Yeah, I like that a lot.
I'm just gonna leave it for
now. Oh, geez, dude, I just noticed the windshield.
Oh, that's cracked.
Wow.
You noticed that one? That one's
No, oh my gosh, dude, this is actually open.
Yeah, the windows. I don't think any windows, except for maybe the back ones, are salvageable.
This might just be my ignorance, but I didn't know that this plexiglass type of window, I guess, cracks and self-destructs like this. We were just sitting. That's just the weather, the elements, I guess.
I'm kind of surprised too.
I mean, that looks melted, dude. It almost looks burnt.
I know. It looks like this just melted right off of that. Look at that.
Yeah, just baking in the heat.
This side.
Do you know how long the plane sat here?
I don't.
It'd be interesting to find out.
But from what it looks like, it seems like it went through maybe a few seasons.
Yeah, to say the least, man. I mean, but like I say, when you look in there, in the meats and bones of it, where the airframe is, there's not any corrosion. And that's what's really important. It's just the carpet is just really disgusting.
Yeah, everything is disgusting, yeah. It does seem like as I get further into the airframe that is at least just dirty and not necessarily beaten up too much.
Is this prop a one that was cut for a climb prop, or do you know if it's a cruise prop?
It says 60 on it, which means it's a cruise prop.
Oh, it is, okay. Yeah, so
I was hoping it was a climb.
Yeah, and what's the climb?
58.
It's 50, okay. 58, you said?
58, yeah.
Well, that's too bad, because that would have been nice to have another one of those.
I was kind of hoping that would be the case. But,
yeah. You know, the more that I'm thinking about this...
I mean, these props aren't cheap.
No, but the more I'm thinking about this, Russ, you know how in 84400, some of these analog gauges bounce around a whole lot?
Yeah.
These look to be in really good shape. So, like right here on the other plane, the oil pressure vibrates back and forth.
I was thinking the same thing. These gauges don't look too bad, yeah.
You know? Yeah, I think there's a lot to be salvaged, but yeah.
That wasn't bad.
Nice. Yeah, you know how everybody says, you know, you're supposed to wear safety glasses? Yeah, we don't do that. Instead, we just work on stuff, and then when stuff shifts around and stuff falls in your eyes, you know, that's just part of the job. Okay. All right, there's the second one. Start pulling it out. All right. Tell me when to stop.
As far as you can.
Okay.
And then hold it while I pull.
Okay. It's not letting me come too far out.
Alright.
Or can I pull, is there enough slack where I can pull the attitude indicator out the front and disconnect it once it's out here?
Try.
Alright, let's see.
I don't think so though.
Yeah, it's pretty tight. I don't know if it's gonna let me.
I just can't even see.
Is it this
how
one?
it's hooked up.
I think I feel it. Hold on. I'm trying to feel for a clip.
It's like over here, yeah. It's tied off of this middle one.
Oh yeah, I do. I feel that.
I think it's just. Problem is I've got it's like coming in like this, so I would have to go up like that, and there's like almost.
Oh, it's coming from the top.
It's like going like that, yeah.
Let's see.
Maybe if you angle, can you angle the backside of it down?
Yeah, I try, but that's as much down as it'll go.
Yeah.
All right, there's one attitude indicator out. That was a pain in the butt.
I'll show you the back.
Yeah, you want to explain what that was all about?
Sure. You put that back in, right?
Yeah.
So it was like that.
So this
there's-
nipple piece was facing up.
Hoses go into all of these,
Yep.
and there's just a hose wrapped around this one into that one. So we had to take this one out, twist that back down all the way, and then pull back from the bottom. But you can see these have these little pins
Yep.
that connects those cables and wires that we're assuming go to the GPS or the autopilot. Or
So to give you guys reference, what a lot of people do when they're putting instruments in planes like this is this whole panel, there's a big metal panel right here that all these instruments fit in. They'll have this panel leaning out kind of like this so that they have an easier access from the top side. They can get their hands in there. They set all the instruments up. The instruments are mounted to this metal plate, and then the plate is mounted into the plane like that. So usually you're not trying to do it like this, where you're crawling up underneath it and trying to get hoses done, which is why when this attitude indicator was originally put in, it didn't matter that nipple was pointing up or down. It didn't matter how it was oriented because you could get to it differently. But we weren't, we didn't want to spend the time to try to pull this panel out and go through all that trouble. If we could just get in there, disconnect that one nipple, turn it, pull the hose off, and be good to go. Especially considering that this aircraft is not airworthy. We're not trying to fly it right now. We're just trying to get out the valuable pieces of equipment so that we can, store them and not have other people steal them, considering, this window's broken, it doesn't lock. I mean, there's no sense in having nice equipment in here that someone can come take out. So,
yeah. And it's essentially just open to the elements right now with the.
It's just going to get damaged more.
Cracked and
humidity is going to get in, rainwater is going to leak in. So when and if this airplane goes back together and becomes a flying plane, all those hoses and rubber pieces in the back of the instrument panel will all get replaced. So inevitably this panel will come completely out at some point, or it'll continue to be a parts plane. Who knows right now, but if it does go back to flying, that's what'll happen. So Russ will decide he need to stop and take a pit stop before we leave. And this is where he decided to park. So nice work. All right, so this is the plane that the attitude indicator went out on. As you can see in there, it's got an in-op sticker on it. So here's the thing here's what we're up against. So this is clearly a different attitude indicator than the other one, and this one went out. So we originally thought that the other one might be a decent replacement because it's known to be working, but this one obviously isn't. But it looks like they're two different type, so it might not be a direct swap in.
So on this seat, when you get up, it comes up, and then when you sit down, it goes down a little bit.
Yep.
It doesn't go down a lot, so it's still usable, I guess you would say. On this seat, you'll see when I sit on it, it'll just fall all the way down, basically.
Yeah, it bottoms out. I mean, you can see, look at that. Actually, I can zoom in on that. Okay, do that again.
There's nothing holding that
Yep.
seat up. So if you're shorter than we are, trying to fly this plane, then that doesn't work for you, basically.
Right, and so that's what this little guy does right here, is it lets you adjust that, like I was talking about, with the height of the seat. It's basically just a little hydraulic ram, kind of like a shock absorber on a car, except it's adjustable with this little lever, and it lets you adjust where that seat positioning is going to sit. So okay, so I'm actually editing the video you're watching right now, and I realized that we didn't shoot an outro. So that happens sometimes, and the reason why is because everything that we're filming is real time. It's really happening. It's not scripted. Russell and I are really, working on these planes in these situations. So sometimes the work, like in this situation, takes precedent, and we just forgot to pick up the camera. So Russell and I we're not full-blown A&Ps or IAs. We're working under an IA that's a good friend of ours, and he's usually in the background somewhere. He's not always on camera, but anyways, in the situation that you saw where the video ended off, we were working on a seat dampener, the one on the left side of the aircraft. It apparently had developed a leak in the seal, and so it was no longer dampening, and it wasn't allowing you to adjust the seat, as you saw. So we were working on replacing that. We thought we had the correct replacement, and we turned out we didn't. So what had ended up happening is we were talking to him, trying to coordinate to resolve the issue, going in the parts manual and looking up the correct part, sourcing it to make sure that we could get a replacement part. All these things are going on, and we just simply forgot to pick up the camera and record it, and unfortunately that happens sometimes. Anyways, that's how that video ended off. Once again, sorry I wasn't able to record all that, but nonetheless, I appreciate you guys watching. Definitely like the video, subscribe to the channel, share it, comment, whatever you want. Everything helps us to promote the video and promote more activities, and we really appreciate that. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys, and have a good day.